This is Tim from Trampled by Turtles, and you're listening to the Barn Radio Show.
There's a branch lying still by the ocean. Time goes fast, grab your lover and hold him. It's the same, all the years come rushing back. Yeah, I don't remember that. Stuck at dawn, falling fast like the weather. Sing a song in a way that you never did before. All the screens have all gone black.
Welcome to the Barn Radio Show. Just me, Chad, here in the studio today, and joined by a special guest online right now. We have Tim from Trampled by Turtles. Tim, how's it going?
Good. How you doing, Chad?
I'm doing real good. Are you guys out on the road? I know you're coming to town real soon. Are you out on the road right now?
Yeah, we're out on the road. We have our day off in Tulsa today and play here tomorrow.
Yeah, and you guys are at Cain's tomorrow.
Yep.
Pretty legendary club down there.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's one of the only places where the Sex Pistols punched a hole in the wall in America, so pretty cool.
Does the history of the place, I'm sure you guys take that in, and I know you've kind of crisscrossed the nation plenty of times by now, but, you know, does the history, do you ever still pinch yourself on some of the places that you're able to get to play?
Oh, absolutely. Like the Troubadour out in Los Angeles, we're playing in January, and that's going to be about our third time, but that place has a lot of mojo, I believe. So, actually, and so does the Fillmore in San Francisco, like a lot of the... I like a lot of the places from that are still around from like the 60s and stuff like that for sure.
I know that you guys have, you're from the Minnesota, Duluth area, and I'm sure you played Minneapolis a ton coming up. And I know that you guys have your star outside of First Avenue, which is a legendary club in Minneapolis as well.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, no, and First Ave, we've always kind of, we've kept our relationship with them. Like, they still put on, like, the shows we do there, just in different venues. But, I mean, yeah, the first time we got to play First Ave was a really big deal. And, it's always a place when you return to it. It always feels special, and it's one of the best staffs you'll ever find. And yeah, man, the house that Prince built.
Yeah, absolutely. Purple Rain and all that.
Yep.
Speaking on those early days and you guys coming up from such a northern place and pretty desolate up there, what were shows like back then when you guys were first trying to make it? Was it those long trips to Minneapolis and other, nearby cities, or were you playing smaller clubs, smaller shows, smaller towns?
I mean, yeah, we were playing small things everywhere. We were trying to get to bigger cities, but we'd hit college towns and things like the way we kind of accessed the larger music scene seemed to be like kind of as like a side scene of like the jam scene, There was like bluegrass bands, jamgrass bands, and then so we kind of like navigate through the jam and like the string band scenes. But you play a lot of the same clubs. We ended up playing just because we played so fast and stuff that we'd play in a lot of like punk clubs and sometimes with like punk bands and stuff like that. Like we have real fond memories of this place. I think it's the Replay Lounge in Lawrence, Kansas. It's like this, just kind of tiny little divey place and just really fun. But I mean, that's what we were doing for like the first 4 or 5 years was kind of exclusively stuff like that. There's a show we did in Pittsburgh once where we got paid in a carton of cigarettes. And, when you're driven that far away, that can be tough. But that's kind of how the vibe was. Lots of small clubs, but we did start touring right away. And we were controlled. And we, Dave, our lead singer, kind of had the idea of not overplaying even our home or Minneapolis too much, because that can be for a lot of bands, it's a good way to cut your teeth, but it can also wear out your crowd, and then a show isn't special anymore if you do it all the time. So
yeah, sure.
We just started going. It was kind of Minnesota and Wisconsin at first, but Colorado was kind of like the mainstay we went to, just because there was a heavy mountain music kind of scene out there. So they kind of took to us first.
Yeah, and I know you guys have played Red Rocks several times, and Telluride, and Coachella, and Bonnaroo. You know, what are some of your sort of, I guess, maybe favorite outdoor places or festivals to play?
I think if you ask any of us, like our favorite outdoor place to play is in Duluth. It's this big bayfront park on the water. Real beautiful amphitheater, holds about like 10,000 people, and we have a yearly show there. We started like a long time ago. I think the first was like us and Atmosphere.
Oh, cool.
And then it's moved on. I think this year, hopefully, I think it's going to be us and Jenny Lewis. So there's that one. Red Rocks, you know, like the first few times you play that, it's really, and it still is as you go, but nothing really compares to the first few times. It's such a unique setting, and the crowd's just like right on top of you, and just goes like very steeply up compared to a lot of places. The Gorge and outside of Seattle is really good, like an hour outside of Seattle.
One of my good buddies, one of the co-hosts on our radio show that we do, he just went and seen Dave Matthews up there on Labor Day weekend.
Oh, nice. Yeah, I bet you that was a great show.
He said he loved it. Said it's beautiful up there.
Yeah, because when you're in the audience, you get that great view of the river behind it and all that. I think if we prefer to play at places, it'd be like outdoor places at night in the dark is like kind of prime show material for sure.
Yeah, and we talk about you being around for a long time. I mean, I think you guys were, playing the folk bluegrass stuff before it was cool. What's it like now seeing the popularity of it with guys like Billy Strings and some of these others that are just on this, massive level?
It's funny because I think we just came in, we got to like kind of ride in on a different wave of cool for this type of music. Because when we started in 2003, like my way I knew bluegrass was through like some jam bands, but mainly like when the Oh Brother Where Art Thou soundtrack came out, like there was a big resurgence. And then so that's like we started in 2003 and we're building through that thing. But I think the next big boost that kind of helped propel us, like, like a rising tides raise all ships type of thing, were like the Mumfords type of thing. And that kind of inserted us in a different way. And but, it has been interesting to see, like, who does come in and out of that, those top positions. And, yeah, it does seem like Billy Strings is in that spot right now, right? So, yeah, and it's been different because it's definitely with Billy Strings seemed to come back to, like, a really more rootsy thing compared to, like, when it was Mumford, the main thing in the Americana, and it was more anthemic and things like that. And, lots of, choruses that everybody sings along with and stuff like that. So, and I think it kind of tends to go between those type of things. Sometimes they want the crazy, really great technical players, and sometimes they want like the, something we can all just, get into,
Yeah, we cannot wait to see you. We're going to be seeing you December 9th, this Friday, at the pageant in St. Louis with Sumbuck. And we're excited for that at the pageant, December 9th on Friday in St. Louis. That's a great venue. I'm not sure. Have you guys played there before?
Yeah, we played there a few times, so we're really excited to be back.
Absolutely. We're excited to have you.
Although, we do miss the duck room, but,
Man, that duck room. There's a lot of history down there, too.
Yeah, we played the duck room. That's got its history. We came with one of Dave's side projects and played the old rock house once and got all our stuff stolen out of our van. It was great.
Oh, no. Well, hopefully we treat you better this time around. We've been digging this new album. Can you help me pronounce it, though? Is it Alpenglow?
Yeah, Alpenglow. You got it.
Yeah, and it sounds like, the definition, anyway, is an optical phenomenon that takes place when the sun casts a reddish glow across the mountains at dawn and dusk. Tell me about the album title.
Well, that's basically what it is. And our banjo player, Banjo Dave, lives out in Steamboat, Colorado, and he's out in the mountains. He always does a lot of skiing. So it was a term, like, basically he was familiar with and thought it would be a good idea. And it actually kind of went with some artwork that was already being done for the cover. It's like the mountain artwork didn't come from the name, funny enough, and the name didn't come from the artwork.
Oh, wow.
So it just happened to work out that way. And the way I like to think of it is like a live performance or an album are just kind of like snapshots of a little moment in time, and you kind of got to see it when it happens to to really get that magic, and that's kind of what Elfin Glow is. So
Very cool. We've been spinning it nonstop. You got a pretty famous producer on this, and I think he also plays on one of the singles, It's So Hard to Hold On, which is a great song, by the way.
thank you.
Mr. Jeff Tweedy from Wilco.
Yep. Yeah, that was a real pleasure. A few of us are like, Wilco fans going back, and really liked, all his music and stuff like that. So when this chance came about, had to do it.
It sounds like you, I'd heard on an interview or read on an interview where you guys typically will sort of like to record your records in like a stay at home kind of thing, I guess, where you're staying at the studio most of the time and it's, away from the distractions. Where this, you actually went to Jeff Tweedy's studio in Chicago.
Right. Yeah, and that was great, and actually before we ended up recording with Jeff at the Loft, we wanted to work out doing an album down at the Sonic Ranch in El Paso, which would have been much more like that escape type of thing. But I mean, this worked out just as well. We got some Airbnbs for those 8 or 10 days in Chicago, and it really wasn't that much different just because we were in a different town and away from all the usual people were around. So we still felt like we were isolated, but yeah, it was cool because, I mean, studio-wise, these isolated places have a studio that's just like a studio. It's just you also live there, too. So it really wasn't terribly different.
We're joined here with Tim from Trampled by Turtles this Friday at the pageant, St. Louis, Missouri, with Some Buck. The barn will be there in attendance, and we can't wait to see you then. Appreciate your time today, Tim.
Yeah, great. Thanks a lot, Chad. Okay, bye.
There's a branch lying still by the ocean. Time goes fast. Grab your lover and hold him. It's the same. All the years come rushing back. Yeah, I don't remember that. Stuck at dawn, falling fast like the weather. Sing a song in a way that you never did before. All the screens have all gone black. Yeah, they won't be coming back. It's so hard to hold on. It's so hard to hold on. Steady now, it's a long way. Some days just